Welcome back, ESGN Nation, to another episode of the Scotty Sports Talk here today, as we're taking a quick little preview of the upcoming game, the first game of Season 8, and that is against the Colorado Buffaloes. And of course, we're getting ready for Season 8, and this should be a very interesting season. We've got a lot of cool things going on. Of course, most importantly, today's episode is more about the players that will be new players actually will have on our squad here this season, like Adrian Thomas, the quarterback, of course, as well as you see some other names there as well. Randy Burns, who's making his, I believe, his second year here at Highland, and he'll be a kind of a focal point for us this upcoming season in the receiving game. Rocco Bennett, the fullback, will probably be, I would say probably utilized a little bit more this season with the experience that he has, but probably not as much as I think would like him to be a part of the running game. But we'll talk more about that here in a few. Aaron Robinson, one of the players for us, who is our senior and who's pretty much our only receiver out there that has experience out there on the field. Not maybe as much as years past of other wide receivers, but he is definitely our statesman there in the receiving game. And of course, there you see his numbers just from the last couple seasons here. And he's been involved in quite a few big games. He's made some pretty good catches, but obviously he has not been over 1,000 yards for a season. Best bet, he's got close to maybe 500 yards just last year when he was more implemented into the passing game more often. But we'll see what he can do this year. 5'10", 212 pounds. He's going to be a guy that we're going to rely on more so, for experience. I would say a lot more so in the deep passing game, unless Randy Burns really starts stepping out there and just starts catching deep passes left and right, and just has a remarkable sophomore year. That'll be pretty much Aaron Robinson's job to do, is to be in the deep passing. Now, of course, the guy that's going to have to throw the ball to him, we have a good quarterback controversy on our hands right now, because we got a young man like Adrian Thomas, who has never touched the field at all. He's a junior red shirt. He's been in the wings, waiting to play, as well as Axel Flanagan, who has been waiting as well. And this is going to be a very interesting, because we're going to try to see which quarterback is the best quarterback. Now, look at statistics here. Obviously, I know statistics, but his skills looks like he's slightly better. If you look at it here on the screen, he's slightly better than Flanagan, and that's an overall. Now, throwing ability, accuracy, I think I would give more accuracy, probably I think to Flanagan than I would Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. But power-wise, Adrian has 90. We'll see Flanagan hopefully we'll see Flanagan's numbers coming up here pretty soon. But there you see his numbers there. And of course, both guys have something to prove. Thomas, like I said, came in a couple years ago. We brought him in. For a while there, we thought he's going to make a quick start there as the cute quarterback for us. But obviously, we had other guys that were in front of him, and of course, like Reed, who was there and played very well for us. And of course, Axel, the younger brother of Alex Flanagan, who's now in the major, who is in the NFL right now. He has something to feel like he has something to prove here. He's been here in the same draft or same recruiting class as Thomas as well. So both guys, have something to prove here. There you see the throw power, the accuracy between the two of them. So they both have something to prove. They both want to be the starting QB, but it's going to come down to just some of the finer little small things, how they carry themselves at practice, how they lead the team on the field, and that kind of stuff right now. Now, I don't know exactly who is going to be quarterbacking week one. In my head, I'm going to go based off of overall. I'm going to say Thomas, but it can easily be called at the last minute. We can change it up and give Flanagan the nod as well to be quarterback. Khalil Carter, another one of our running backs here, and this is what I was talking about. Bennett is a great runner, great fullback. He can block, he can run, but Khalil is one of those players that we've again held him back. He's the same class with Alex and them. We had a lot of great people coming out of there just 2 seasons ago that we had to hold back because we're like, oh wow, we actually got them, and we at first some of these guys were kind of long shots, like wow, we got them, and now we got to figure out a way what we're gonna actually do with them in that sense. So with that being said, we had to hold him back for a while and let him develop a little bit more. He got some playing time here, or not necessarily playing time, but he got spring ball. He had some pretty good reps we felt comfortable with, and he did a great job. Okay, so Randy Burns, guys we've been talking about since last season, and has had a great year. This is, of course, this is sophomore. He's a sophomore right now. Redshirted last year. And of course made his start last year, so technically he's a junior, but football wise he's a sophomore. But yeah, he's got some great talent here. 11 touchdown catches last year. A big body frame like him, 6'2", 219. This kid is gonna be, I feel like he's gonna be something special. If we can get him and Thomas or Flanagan, whoever the quarterback is at the time, on the same page, we could be seeing some really cool things from this young man. I would say he's a dark horse candidate. May I say that? I mean, I think I've said this before, but he could be a good candidate for the Heisman Trophy. We said that same thing about I can't think of his name now from last season, the last couple of seasons now, the quarterback or the wide receiver we had, and he was a true freshman when he started. But I think with Randy Burns, I think with the year that he took that year off, we redshirted him and just kind of develop a little more. And you take a look at his stats there. I think he's going to be a really good receiver that we're going to have a lot of fun throwing to. Barnes and Slater, and then of course you see Simmons McGee. They're freshmen, so they're going to be on the squad there, and I think we're going to see more. We're going to get them involved more, so especially when games are we're in blowout territory there. We're going to try get the second string guys in and get them some reps as well. And I try to do that every single year, but it doesn't necessarily happen too much because sometimes we think we're in blowout territory. Next thing you know, we end up giving up 3 touchdowns unexplained. Matthew Hicks, the tight end, 6'1", 243 pounds. Now, I do want to bring him in. He's a sophomore, and of course he had some little playing time last year. But I really kind of want to bring in Michael Westbecker. He's a freshman, tight end. He's a future star. But I really feel like Westbecker's time is now. I think I want to get him, throw him in there right now, get his career here with Highland going, and see what he can do. Matthew has, obviously has a year more experience being on the field here in Division I football, or college football, I should say. I kind of want to use it. In some ways, I kind of want to have a 2. We've always had a 2 tight end set in certain formations, and we're still going to do that. But I hate to do this to you, Hicks, but I think we might have to go with Westbecker because I just like his skills, his skill tree, his player skills are a lot more better. I just see more, not more better, but more refined, more fine-tuned. Then you also got Dallas Matthews as well, who's a great player, and of course Patrick Stewart, another player that is up and coming as well, part of our freshman class that we brought in. But yeah, he's got Westbrook. I mean, just some pretty good numbers over 76 overall. Great speed, great acceleration, great agility, decent awareness, and obviously yes, his catch, his run traffic is all in the 70s, but that can easily be he can easily get those up into the mid 70s, maybe even to the into the 80s within a couple of games if we get him involved early on here this season. And that's what that's what I want to try to do, but we'll see how things go. We'll put him in a couple of packages. We'll see how things go. Spring ball, he looked great. He looked sharp. He was ready to go. He came in actually, he graduated early. He graduated back in December in high school, and then he started taking classes here, and we got him involved in spring ball. He's been doing very, very well, both on the field and academically. Then take a look at our defensive ends. You got brothers Jordan Lumpkin and Quinn, who you see brothers red shirt from last year. So this will be his first year playing full time. I was on the fence with brothers last year. I kind of wish we did kind of start him, so we wouldn't have that. I could have let one of the juniors that we had. I think we had two juniors that we could have easily let. I could have really had one of them set out because they were eligible to be redshirted, and then we could have had brothers start over him, and then this year, so on and so forth. But I didn't do that. I kind of want to have brothers, I guess, be the guy that be the star in that defensive end position there. So it's a tough task for him. It's gonna be his first time playing there in that side of the field as a redshirt freshman. But there's a reason why we redshirted him. He just had some really good. He had he has high potential for our squad for the next couple of seasons. So I think he is definitely going to be. I almost want to say he's almost going to be another. I can see him being another Sheldon Sherman for us, a guy that's going to be really aggressive on the line. He's going to be able to rip and tear there and get through there, and of course getting help on the opposite side of him. Gary Williams, the senior, who is talking to him during the spring ball, and of course leading back into spring training, coming back. He is really excited about trying to make a name for himself there on the right side of the field. 6'7", wow, 264 pounds. He's a big boy there. He's NFL ready, I think, but I think he needs to fine tune some areas in his game to get better. Sprint or speed good, but take a look at we gotta get that power, the finesse, and that block shedding a little bit better. Tackling I like, but overall the other things there, hit power is definitely on top. He definitely put a hurting on somebody, but yeah, he'll definitely have that right hand side there by himself. Of course, he'll be with Chris Rice, the redshirt freshman. Bobby Malone is the freshman there, and of course Fitzpatrick is another redshirt guy there who's gonna also be. I think he'll make a nice impact. Dallas Russo, I believe this will be his last year with us, and of course he'll have some other guys there helping us out. Some freshmen there that we're gonna rotate in and out to help Russo out. Especially down towards the end of the stretch, mid-season, get those freshmen in there and get them get their feet wet and get them ready. We got some plans. There are some games there are certain guys going to come in to play, and they're going to get their chance to prove what they can do on the field. And like I said, some of the bigger games, Russo will be involved. He'll be heavily involved in that tackle position. Help us stop the run, but he's been working really closely with the freshmen and the sophomores there, helping them out during spring ball and just showing the techniques that really work best to penetrate the opposing team's offensive line. Russo, of course, he's came close to winning a couple awards there, but he's been involved in a lot of tackles for loss and stuff like that over the last couple of seasons here for us. Davis DeSantos, senior. I can't believe he's already a senior already. Wow. 6'4", 254 pounds. And there you see his numbers from last couple seasons now here. He's averaged about 30 tackles, with the exception of last season. Kind of a really bad year for him. Not necessarily hurt, but just wasn't really involved in too many tackles that other teams were really doing a good job there avoiding him and not letting him get involved in a lot of plays there. But yeah, we're hoping to have a good, successful season with him in that backfield, with our secondaries and our linebackers like that. I was really thinking about moving him over to right side, but I think might just keep him there on the left hand side because I think we're shorthanded. I think either on both sides of the ball there. I can't really remember exactly because Eric Washington has to play middle linebacker, and right now we depth wise we're not really there yet. Sears, Roosevelt Sears, I'm so glad we picked him up. 6'3", 219 pounds. He's a good kid, and I think he's very amped up and ready to go. Eric Washington, of course, middle linebacker there for a couple seasons now, and he's doing very well, especially last year. 79 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 5 assisted tackles. He also had 2 interceptions as well, so he knows he can read the quarterback's eyes pretty well. And when he does, look out because he's ready to take that ball back for a pick 6. So we'll definitely no defensive touchdowns, but he's one of those players that he's just got a pretty good eye on him when he's looking at the quarterback, and he can make some pretty good judgments and obviously get to tackles as well. So, but there you see his numbers there. And like I said, this will be his senior year. And of course, we got some freshmen and a couple sophomores as well going to be down there as well. Like I said, this is a youth. I mean, we're basically re-injecting some youth into this team because, we lost a lot of people going to the NFL last season, and then 2 seasons ago, we lost a lot of people. So we've been kind of rebooting and kind of just rebooting the defense, rebooting the offense, and just try to, slide guys in and out and get them, prepped and ready to go. And then, by halfway through the season, we'll start, they'll start seeing more playing time. Because, it's more of the trust issue. I can trust them more better, and we'll be ready to go. John Wade is the freshman. There you see all 3 of those guys are freshmen. So, and like I said, we're going to be doing a rotation with those guys, see which guys are, more suited with. Right now, Wade overall, if you can tell, has a better overall over them. But like I said, I want to try to rotate those guys. Chris McCall, man, this is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough to replace him. By far, one of my favorite guys. He's last, here. Yeah, if you take a look at his numbers, he has 18 interceptions for his career. Last year he had 6, and then the year before that he had 8, and 3 of those went back for a defensive touchdown. So McCall numbers maybe not as going, generally going up like they should, but he is definitely one of those guys that I feel like I can really rely on in that corner position. And I wouldn't necessarily he's a shutdown corner, but he's definitely can he definitely stick with his guy and make him pay. And then in clutch, I would say in clutch moments, he is very, very clutch. Like he can go up there and tip a ball away, or in best bet, he can go up there and snag one out of the air and get a turnover for you and get the ball back for you and put you in a pretty good field position. So we're open for that. There you see his awareness, his man-to-man, of course, his zone as well. But a great player there, and I definitely see him. I can see him going into the second, late. I can see him being an early second round guy, maybe a late first round corner out there for somebody out there in the NFL. But yeah, I cannot wait to see what he can do this season. And he's going to be one of those guys on defense that I'm going to be really kind of hoping for and kind of relying on to make some good defensive plays when we need those, when we need a pick or something, a turnover situation or something. There you see the Thompsons. They're not related, but there you see both of them. And then Hines, he's a freshman. And then Todd, I believe, is a freshman as well. So they're decent guys there. They got some pretty numbers. They just got to get some playing time, and we can work with them in that aspect of things. And then, of course, Gable Sands, the sophomore, who has been doing very well for us. And then, of course, Wall, one of our in-state guys there in the second spot there as the free safety. And then strong safety, Jason Wood and Carter. Pretty similar. You see how they look at 83, 79. I mean, pretty close to one another in a lot of the attributes there. And again, that's another position that we could be. Those two can flex back and forth. One can play a game, the other one can be set out a game, and just kind of go back and forth to that. And of course, then our punter and kicker are both freshmen, Crum and of course Oliver as well. So we got two of those guys, and we don't get into too many situations where our punter and kicker in those, but I really feel like that this year that might be something that will, something I was trying to get to last year to bring in somebody, but unfortunately we couldn't. When we started season 8 or season 9 or season 7. But this year we got some nice kickers here and as well, so we don't have to worry about that. I may look into more, may a kicker or punter for next year as well towards the end of latter in the season. But there you see our recruiting, and we'll get more to that a little later on in a future episode here of what we're looking for. But for the most part here, we've got a lot of athletes here that actually looking for people that wanted to come to Highland. There's quite a few athletes here, and of course not all of them are being been looked at yet, but we'll recruit some of these guys. We'll look at some of the recruits and see how they go, and then we go from there. But right now this year we're in need for a wide receiver. We're putting out 4 targets of that, and then of course a guard of some sort. We need one of those. We're actually targeting 4 of those. We're hoping to get at least 3 from each. That'll help us out, so that put next year's freshman class with 3. Right now we don't have any freshmen at all in the guard position, but we do have some in the wide receiver position. But again, we just want to continue reloading and getting guys in here and just get them prepared and ready to go. Because Coach Bonds, if you guys know about the series, no one's job is ever safe. Coach Bonds will definitely pull a guy. It don't matter if he's a senior or a freshman. Especially if he's a senior. If he's not playing really well, then hey, you know what? We're gonna pull you, and we're gonna bring somebody in and go from there. And then you see defensive tackles. We need 2 because we got 2 leaving this year, and we only have 2 freshmen right now. And then middle linebacker, we need 1. We have 1 senior. We have 1 junior. Of course, that junior can easily leave as well. So we have, worst case scenario, we'll have a sophomore. Sophomore will at least be a junior next year. They will be there. So we definitely got to bring in some of those as well. Take a look at the preseason. We're number 1 in the nation right now, surprisingly, with all the changes that we've had as of late when it comes to players and personnel, or not necessarily personnel, but just players in general. But yeah, we're number 1, and then there you see the rest of the top 25, and then at number 25 is Arkansas. So not a bad go, but I feel like if you've seen our schedule there in the last episode playing against Colorado, I feel like our schedule is pretty decent. It's not tough, but we do have some teams that I feel like we can that we'll do pretty decent with. We'll have some exciting games, I guess you could say, some fun games to play against. and we'll just see how things go from there. But take a look at the rest of the preseason here. And dead last, it is Akron at 126. Take a look here at the conference outlook here. Of course, Big 12 North, it is us, BYU, West Virginia, K-State, Utah, Kansas, Iowa State, and Cincinnati. In the South, it's Arizona State and Oklahoma State, which is a really good battle. I cannot wait to see that. That might be a game that we'll actually have to do a view at some point this season. And then, of course, the Big 12 overall, it's us, BYU, Arizona State, Baylor, UCF, West Virginia, Arizona, K-State, Utah, TCU, Houston, Kansas, Iowa, Texas Tech, and Cincinnati. As you take a look here, of course, we do not have a player on this list quite yet, but there are some familiar names. Derek Lowry there, of course, Nixon as well, the halfback for Ohio State, and of course the quarterback from Oklahoma State, doing very well. Had a very successful season last year, but he actually came up, I think, in second place compared to, of course, Davison, our guy who won the Heisman last year. And, of course, there's the rest of the Heisman Trophy candidates as well for this year. And I'm not really familiar with too many of these guys, with the exception, like I said, the last two. Larry, Oklahoma State, and, of course, Nixon, the halfback for Ohio State, who I believe finished either third or fourth last year. I can't remember, in the Heisman Trophy race. But he had some pretty good numbers there towards the end. So as we take a look at the preview here for Colorado, of course, this is not Deion Sanders, not Prime. This is not his team, at least in this version of the game. But they are pretty good. If you take a look here, they're a pretty good team. B overall, they got a B plus defense, or excuse me, B plus offense and a B defense here. You know, I really think this is going to be kind of a tug of war with us. It is a home game for us, so they'll be on the road here. But I think this will be a good game. I think this will be a good test for us. First game, first test. Wilson, over 3,000 yards last year, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Chambers, he had only two touchdowns last year with 71 carries with 297 yards. So he hasn't, he didn't play full time last year. So the running back experience there is not high. So he doesn't have too much experience in that area. But there you take a look at some of their players here. Blake Taylor, 6'4", 289-pound junior red shirt. He last year had 3.5 sacks. So last year was pretty much his first year really playing on the field full time. But there you take a look at his strength. He's going to be a guy that we're going to have a tough time running the ball there. If he gets a hold of our halfback, it's going to be it's not going to be a good day. If he gets a hold of Carter, it's not going to be a good day. So we got to try to make sure we find a way to kind of maneuver around that and get away from him. And not to mention not let him get a hold of our quarterback either. I mean, he's a terrorizer as well. 3.5 sacks just last year. Derek Lamb, the free safety. We'll take a look at his numbers. He has 1 sack total from just last year, and of course 2 sacks for his career. But he's definitely one of those flyers. They can fly around. Great acceleration, great speed for him, and of course you take a look there at the rest of his other stats there. Great pursuit. So he is definitely a guy that will make sure we don't throw in his direction too often there. Mike Edwards, 6'4", 197 pounds. I think this will be the matchup that Chris McCall will have to deal with. As you see here, no touchdowns last season, but he has a total of 5, sitting back from the 20 just two seasons ago. There you see with 4. So yeah, he'll definitely be a guy that will be challenged. Will be challenged and will be challenging to deal with. He has great acceleration. So like I said, he can fly around the field, but I think that'll be a matchup there for Chris McCall. I think McCall can definitely handle that for the most part there, and kind of keep him locked down. Jeff Wilson, there you see 6'4", 209 pounds, a senior redshirt. You know, he has over, 3,000 yards last year. So last year was pretty much his breakout year compared to the last 2 seasons there. 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So his touchdown interception ratio is pretty decent there. Not bad at all. But again, you know, we just got to try to, you know, just contain. And that's going to be the thing for this defensive line. You know, they're young. But we're hoping that we contain. We still got some veterans on there, obviously. But when we do bring in some of those younger guys to help out and kind of plug them into certain, you know, certain defensive packages, stuff like that, that's what I'm afraid of, the containment of the quarterback, because this quarterback, he can't really necessarily run, but he can definitely throw. But, you know, it's EA. You never know with this game. He could be a runner. They're just lying to us. But there you see, actually throwing. Actually, I mean, he can. I mean, he's got a great accuracy there and great power there. So I mean, he can be pretty accurate, probably pretty deep. He can probably throw the ball pretty deep with that kind of accuracy there. And of course, obviously he's gonna be throwing this man right here, Terrence Mason, 6'2", 93 pounds, junior redshirt. He'll definitely be a guy that will be taken care of quite well there from Wilson if we don't keep a close hold on him. Even though he doesn't have that, you know, monster stats, because this will be his first year as probably a starter. But he'll definitely try to do his best to come out and have those breakout games. And why not try to do it against, you know, the #1 team in the nation on the road, and cause, you know, try to have an early upset early on in the season here against us. And that's why I feel like what Colorado's going to end up doing. I think we'll probably be an upset alert. Do I say this is a trap game? No, not necessarily. But I will say that they will. By the looks of their team and how they're made up, and of course their abilities like that, I really feel like that this is going to be a team that they're not going to sit back and just let things just, you know, they're not going to let us run around and do whatever we want on the field, even if we're at home. They're going to challenge us, and they're going to make sure that we earn that. Yeah, we earn that opportunity. You know, that we have to earn that win. And you know what, Coach Bond says he's ready for that. He's ready to go. He doesn't take any game for granted, really. But this one, you know, and plus 2, we got a home. We have a 42 game home winning streak or something like that on the line right now. Yeah, 42 game home winning, 42 game home winning streak. So that is on the line. And, you know, a team like Colorado, I can see that being to kind of bust a bubble on that. Bust a bubble on that and cause some problems there for us. So, like I said, they got some talent. They got talented guys on there. Are they more talented than us? Yeah, not really. Maybe in some areas. But I think for the most part here, I think it's just going to be one of those games where we have a rookie. Obviously, we have a rookie quarterback. That's one of my main concerns there, is the passing game. I hope he doesn't get. I'm trying to make sure we don't get too pass happy with him. I want to, you know, stick with our running game, what we're known for. But also, I can't be. This kid has pretty good arms, so I kind of want to go out there and pass around, especially against a defensive squad like this that doesn't really do too well against the pass too often. So we'll try to take care of that. And of course, if we are in that trouble, throwing too many picks, then we'll definitely have to regroup and figure out, you know, find another way of getting it. You know, throw more short passes there. If he gets too pass happy and we're throwing too many interceptions, then obviously, you know, Axel Flanagan will come into the game. So, but that's it for this episode of Scotty Sports Talk here. Hopefully, you guys will stick around for the next video, which will be the game here. It'll be unranked Colorado taking on #1 ranked Highland Scotties. Week 1 of Season 8 here in the Highland Scotties Team Builder Dynasty. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on the channel. That video of this game should be up here in the next day or two. But that's it. Hopefully you guys have a great afternoon. Hopefully you have a great day. And go Scotty Nation. As always, keep each other healthy. And I will see you all next time.